They've been referred to as castles of the prairie, old school buildings that have been left vacant after districts consolidate. Some have been untouched for years, while others just recently rang their final bell.
And it's an emotional loss for communities, but a wave of former students is taking matters into their own hands and restoring their schools. KIMT News 3's Levi Ismail shows us what they've accomplished in a Covering the Economy special report.
Declining enrollment is not just a rural Iowa issue. It's a concern across the state and beyond. School buildings that once housed thousands in thriving communities now barely stand on the foundation they were built. It's something these North Iowans are looking to change.
Cool. Yeah, a friend of ours got these, found these annuals. That was pretty cool. They were at a garage sale. I'm not in there.
Oh, yeah? I'll see if I can find you.
Bruce and Marcia Kluver have been together since high school. They still remember the fateful accident where books came flying out of Marcia's hands and landed right in front of Bruce. But trying to remember all the special moments.
There it is.
Okay, that's enough. Put that one away.
Well, that's what photos are for.
Yeah, that's us.
Oh, that's illegal.
Page by page, the two take a trip back to 1978, where two long-haired teens fell in love behind these very walls.
There's the old original three-story building.
Did you have any idea that once you started this, that this is what it was going to turn into?
Not a clue.
Serving on the Woden Crystal Lake School Board, Bruce knew it would not be long before his beloved school would soon become vacant. So we did the one thing he felt would keep the school in Crystal Lake and save the structure, which has been a part of the family for generations. He bought the building.
First, it's kind of like, whoa, but... And then it was going through the process of trying to decide what you wanted to do with it.
Taking suggestions from all around town, Bruce finally landed on an idea.
So this one we're getting ready to paint.
5 apartments and an 8-person bunkhouse later, the Kluver Community Center was born, or will be once the project is finished.
And instead of having their family stay in Algona and clear over to Mason City or whatever, they could come get the bunkhouse, and you're 6 blocks from the lake.
Repurposing an entire school building usually requires a certain level of engineering skill and expertise.
Yeah, no, I had none.
But in this case, it's a passion for his community that refuses to let go.
You got your people that think you're crazy, but no, most of it's been very positive.
We often talk about schools and churches are places that you just don't want to see closed down, you don't want to see them tore down.
Just miles from one another stand tall monuments of what was. Once vibrant schools and communities now with populations too small to support or maintain such buildings. Back in the late 1800s, Iowa had as many as 13,400 school districts. In 2015, that's down to just over 300. All schools either lost to consolidation or fleeing populations in search of bigger and better districts.
Unfortunately, the reality is in some of our small communities, it's just really hard. The financial burden that it would place on the community would just simply, it outweighs the potential gain.
Meet Corey Meyer, superintendent of the North Iowa School District that once included the Thompson School building. After the schools merged, students began traveling to nearby Buffalo Center, leaving arguably the tallest building in town vacant.
That's something that, of course, all rural Iowa communities want, is some way, if their school does get closed, to turn it into something positive, that those memories don't have to be torn down and thrown away.
If the school is not repurposed, districts can spend thousands of dollars on even simple maintenance. $40,000 to $50,000 can be spent on utilities alone each year. Luckily for Meyer, in April, 2 former students and Thompson natives decided to purchase the property and continue the trend of turning it into residential housing, saving the school district well over $300,000 a year. For Meyer, the savings is minor compared to what this could mean for the rebuilding of the community.
As families potentially move into those apartments that they're going to be creating, that brings students into our district, which is what rural Iowa, that's what we need.
Every time I drive down the street and see a building, I think, what could we do with that building?
In Lakota, the former school building far exceeds any preconceived notion of what you may think a condo in a school would look like. Welcome to the Eagle Center.
We're here.
Yeah, it's the old school building, but we don't want it to feel like you live in a shack.
Custom tiling, custom woodwork, and all the amenities you can think of, all made to order. This is not your typical apartment complex, and this is not your typical home.
This unit has 3 full bedrooms.
Royce and Don Jansen are developers with an eye for detail.
This is what we do. We try to take something and make something unique and makes a statement.
With over 7,500 square feet of renovated property, residents can customize the fixtures, the kitchen, the bedroom, and everything in between. For Sharon and Bob Price, these Lakota High School sweethearts came back to where it all started.
Our family's around here, and Lakota is the place we wanted to be, and this come up, and we couldn't pass it up.
In fact, more than half of those who currently live in the Eagle Center at one point graduated from the same school they now call home. That includes 3 generations of Jansons.
It's fun to have grandparents close for my children and my parents close for me.
Obviously never even crossed my mind going to school that I would someday own the building and develop it. And that's where they prepared all the food, and this was the tables where the kids all ate.
As things continue to progress in our country, there's going to be a lot of people who want to come back to the smaller areas.
My kids graduated through here. My wife's graduated from here, her family. So it's been in the family a long time, kind of.
If they're able to make some profit on it down the road, I think that's a wonderful thing, but it's a lot deeper than that.
When all the pieces come together, it's not just people and jobs that return to these communities, it's a sense of hope as well.
When you mix that financial savings with the benefit of keeping a place that has such special memories for everybody, that's really where the value's at.
Now, just last week, the debate over the old school building in Casson came to an end. The City Council voted to turn that facility into affordable housing.
And tomorrow, the Rochester School Board will also be finalizing the sale of the Gage East School building. That'll be turned into affordable housing for homeless families and youth.